Today's artist is Dora Carrington. Her portrait we're going to discuss as well as insert into the AI generator is Spanish Landscape with Mountains, painted in 1924. Welcome to Nobledon's History Art Edition. Chef Nobledon here. Miss Carrington's style is simple as well as soothing. I love how she captures the distance as if you are standing there trying to find your way past these mountains. What stands out is the sky and the clouds, how she blends the whites with the blues to give a camera-like feel. Dora was an interesting woman. After Spoonie reads you the history of this portrait, I'll jump into Miss Carrington's background, then my favorite AI picture, and the name I chose. Hopefully you have one, and hit me up in the box. Ciao!
Top of the morning to you. Dora Carrington was an English painter and decorative artist remembered in part for her association with members of the Bloomsbury Group, especially the writer Lytton Strachey. Spanish Landscape with Mountains demonstrates her fascination with the Andalusian landscape which she visited during her travels throughout France and Spain in the 1920s. The steep, rolling mountains in the foreground of this painting contrast with the jagged peaks in the background, and the impression is of a distant territory, both unfamiliar and alien. The enormous scale of the mountains is emphasized by the inclusion of 4 mules and their muleteers which are just visible along a narrow path, and the warm climate is evident from the cacti which grow in the otherwise barren landscape. Carrington made studies for this painting at Jaén, a town 4,000 feet above sea level in southern Spain that offered spectacular views of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. She wrote to a friend who was then living in Jaén, "I am very happy working on 2 Jaén pictures. They transport me into another world. I cannot express quite what a relief it is. Nano.
Howdy, it must be nice to travel like that, just to find the look that speaks to you. She had a special passion that overflowed into her every part of her life. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's Spoonie with more.
Lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
Welcome back. Carrington, as she preferred to be known, was born in Herefordshire in 1893 to Samuel and Charlotte. The 4th child of 5, she felt isolated from her parents and felt more at home in her artworks, a talent that was noticed at her school in Bedford. The Slade days. Carrington stood out from the very beginning. Long before the flapper style was in vogue, Carrington cut her striking hair into a bob. Her close friends at the Slade, Dorothy Brett, and Barbara Hiles, followed her and the 3 became known as the Slade Cropheads. She wanted to be a trendsetter. Miss Carrington was a free soul, as her personal life was complicated. Just like the following story. At the Slade School, Carrington became the subject of desire for several of the artists. Her relationships with them were complicated, to say the least. Her upbringing with a mother that Carrington herself described as pious, left her with repressed sexual feelings, but this did not prevent her from developing close, intense relationships with the men in her circle. Paul Nash fell in love with her while his brother, John Nash, wished to marry her. Albert Rutherston also fell for the enchanting young woman, but her desire for platonic love over a physical relationship left this young man in desolation. But her most complicated affairs involved Richard Nevinson and Mark Gertler, who had been the closest of friends but fell out when both fell in love with her. From Gertler to Nevinson, I am writing here to tell you that our friendship must end from now, my sole reason being that I am in love with Carrington and I have reason to believe that you are so too. Therefore, much as I have tried to overlook it, I have come to the conclusion that rivals, and rivals in love, cannot be friends. Mark Gertler to Richard Nevinson, letter. Carrington refused to embark on a sexual relationship with either of these men as she was searching for an artistic soulmate. Nano.
See, told you she was a free soul. Wait till you hear about her marriage. This lady is so interesting. Grab some popcorn and enjoy. Manja.
I like her spurt, Lytton Strachey. In 1915, she met the love of her life, the writer and member of the Bloomsbury Group, Lytton Strachey. As always, there was a complication. Strachey was homosexual. Carrington's need for a physical relationship was minimal, but her love for Strachey was true and lasting. Even her marriage in 1921 to Ralph Partridge did not diminish the attachment, and the 3 lived together at Tidmarsh Mill House, near Pangbourne, Berkshire. The 2 had met because of the Bloomsbury Group. Earlier, in 1912, Carrington became friends with members of the group, some of whom tried to help her to establish herself as an artist, but her shyness made this impossible and kept her on the outside. Virginia Woolf commissioned her to produce woodcuts for the Hogarth Press. Of the group, Carrington said, "It was a marvelous combination of the highest intelligence and appreciation of literature combined with a lean humor and tremendous affection. They gave it backwards and forwards to each other like shuttlecocks, only the shuttlecocks multiplied as they flew in the air." Dora Carrington, a Tur. Yet despite this admiration, Carrington remained aloof from the circle. It was at Garsington Manor near Oxford, the home of politician Philip Morel and his wife, Ottiline Morel, the patron of so many of the artists, writers, and poets of the time, that Carrington socialized most with the members of the Bloomsbury Group. But despite the work that came from Woolf and from Roger Fry, Carrington still remained on the outside. Nano.
Even though she had a free spirit, she could not overcome that shyness. I could write all day on why I enjoy Miss Carrington's story. However, time to talk about my favorite AI-generated portrait, which I named The Path Home. I love the way the mountain has the sun on it or inside of it, looking like a portal, trying to tell me to come this way. There's something special, somebody special may be waiting inside of there. I hope you enjoyed my moment in history, art edition, and remember, have a great day and smile.
Manja.